Hey everyone, welcome back to Divine Wisdom Explained, the channel where we dive deep into timeless biblical stories and uncover powerful lessons for our everyday lives. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up if you find these teachings helpful. Let's dive into today's story and discover divine wisdom together. The Creation, a New World. Introduction. In the beginning, before anything existed, no earth, no sky, no sea, there was only God. He existed in eternal harmony, perfect in wisdom, power, and majesty. But God, in His infinite goodness and love, desired to create something new, a world where life could flourish and where His glory could be displayed. And so, God began the creation of the world, a process that would unfold over 6 days, each day bringing something remarkable into existence. This is the story of the creation. A new world, a story of how the universe came to be, how life began, and how we as humans were created in the image of God. Day 1, the creation of light. In Genesis 1 verses 1 to 5, we read that the world was formless and empty, covered in darkness. The earth was without shape, and the Spirit of God hovered over the waters. It was in this deep void-like state that God began His creative work. And then God spoke His first words. Let there be light. With these words, light appeared, shattering the darkness and filling the world with brightness. God separated the light from the darkness, calling the light day and the darkness night. This marked the first day of creation. Through His command, God brought light into a place where there had been only chaos. The first moral lesson here is that God's word brings order to chaos. Before the universe existed as we know it, there was nothing but darkness and void. But God's creative power brought clarity and purpose into existence. This speaks to us today. God's word has the power to bring order and peace into the chaos of our lives. Day 2, the creation of the sky. On the second day, Genesis 1 verses 6 to 8, God continued His work. He created the sky, separating the waters above from the waters below. This was the creation of the firmament, or the heavens. God called the firmament sky, and this was the second day. The sky would serve as a protective barrier for the earth, holding the waters in place above while allowing the earth below to flourish. The sky was not only a beautiful creation, but also served a practical purpose in maintaining the balance of nature. Just as God separated the sky from the waters, He also brings boundaries and structure into our lives, giving us the ability to thrive in harmony with His creation. Moral. From the creation of the sky, we learn that God establishes order and boundaries in our lives for our protection and growth. Without boundaries, the world would be in chaos. Similarly, in our personal lives, boundaries help us thrive, stay balanced, and fulfill God's purpose. Day 3, the creation of land and vegetation. On the third day, Genesis 1 verses 9 to 13, God spoke again. Let the waters under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear. And so God gathered the waters into seas, and the dry land emerged. He called the dry land earth, and the gathered waters seas. Then God filled the earth with vegetation, plants, and trees, each according to its kind. The earth became lush with life, teeming with greenery, and the first forms of life began to take shape. In this moment, God not only created the land, but also provided it with the capacity to sustain life. From the smallest seed to the tallest tree, God provided for the earth to flourish, each plant and tree producing its own kind, each serving a purpose in the world's balance. Moral. On this day, we learn that God provides for all His creation. Just as He created the earth to support the plants, trees, and all life, He also provides for our needs. We are reminded that God cares for us and equips the world with everything needed to sustain life. Trust in God's provision and know that He has given us everything we need for growth and flourishing. Day 4, the creation of the sun, moon, and stars. On the fourth day, Genesis 1 verses 14 to 19, God created the sun, the moon, and the stars. He set them in the sky to give light to the earth, to separate day from night, and to serve as markers for time, days, seasons, and years. The sun would rule over the day, and the moon would rule over the night. He also created the stars, placing them in the sky as ornaments of beauty. God's creation of the sun and moon not only brought light and life to the earth, but also provided a rhythm for life, a day and night cycle that marked the passage of time. These lights would also serve as signs, pointing to the Creator's power and order in the universe. Moral: the creation of the sun, moon, and stars teaches us that God brings light to our lives in both practical and spiritual ways. Just as the sun gives light to the earth, God's presence in our lives provides guidance and direction. His light leads us, sustains us, and marks the passing of time, giving our lives purpose. Day 5. The creation of birds and sea creatures. On the fifth day, Genesis 1 verses 20-23, God created living creatures to fill the waters and the sky. He created the creatures of the sea and the birds of the air, each according to its kind. God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and increase in number, and fill the waters and seas, and let the birds increase on the earth." The seas and skies were teeming with life. From the largest creatures in the ocean to the smallest fish, and from the mighty eagle to the tiny sparrow. God's command was clear. Life was to multiply and fill the earth. Moral: from the creation of birds and sea creatures, we learn that God desires for his creation to flourish and multiply. Just as he blessed the creatures of the sea and sky to be fruitful, he desires the same for us in our lives: growth, multiplication, and abundance. God's blessings are meant to be shared and spread, and we are called to bring his goodness to the world. Day 6. The creation of animals and humanity. On the sixth day, Genesis 1 verses 24-31, God created the animals of the land, each according to its kind, livestock, wild animals, and creeping things. But it was on this day that God made his most extraordinary creation, humanity. He said, "Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness." And so God created man and woman in his image. He created them male and female and blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and increase in number. Fill the earth and subdue it." God gave humans dominion over the animals and all the earth. He entrusted them with the care of his creation, to steward the land, the animals, and the resources he had made. Humanity was to reflect God's image, to love, create, and nurture the world around them. Moral: the creation of humanity teaches us that we are made in the image of God. This means that we are called to reflect his character, his love, creativity, justice, and goodness. We are also given the responsibility of stewardship, to care for the world and all its creatures. Humanity is not only the pinnacle of creation, but also entrusted with a divine mission. Day 7. God rests. On the seventh day, Genesis 2, verses 1-3, God saw that everything he had made was very good. He completed his work of creation, and then he rested, not because he was tired, but to set an example for humanity. He blessed the seventh day and made it holy. This was the first Sabbath, a day of rest, peace, and reflection on the goodness of God's creation. Moral: the seventh day teaches us the importance of rest and reflection. Just as God rested, we are called to take time to rest and reflect on the work God has done in our lives. Rest is not only physical but spiritual, a time to reconnect with God and appreciate his goodness. Conclusion: the creation story in Genesis is more than just an account of how the world came to be. It is a story that teaches us about the nature of God and the purpose of humanity. God is a creator, and everything he made is good, purposeful, and full of potential. From the light that dispels darkness to the creation of humanity in his image, we see the divine order and intentionality behind all of life. Moral lesson for us today. 1. God brings order to chaos. Just as God brought order to a chaotic world, he can bring order to the chaos in our lives through his word. 2. God provides for his creation. He is the ultimate provider. We can trust that he will meet all our needs, as he has given us everything we need for growth and flourishing. 3. We are created in God's image, asterisk, asterisk. As humans, we are called to reflect God's character and live with purpose, caring for the world and each other. 4. Rest is sacred. God created a rhythm of work and rest. We must value rest, taking time to reconnect with God and reflect on his goodness. Thank you so much for joining us today on Divine Wisdom Explained. We hope this story of creation has inspired you to look at the world around you with awe and gratitude, and to reflect on the beauty and purpose of your own life. If you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming stories. May God's wisdom guide you in every step of your journey. See you next time.